In this video, you guys are going to learn everything from shield part locations to small side Easter eggs to completing the overall Easter egg in Luigi's Mansion. Now, if this is your first time watching any of my videos, I want to first of all say welcome to the channel and thank you for clicking on this video. If you guys are interested in any custom zombie maps, Easter eggs, guides, you gotta let me know in the comment section down below. I will read those and I'll do the absolute best of my ability to complete your guys' requests. With that all being said, if you guys appreciate this video, leave a like, maybe comment, and even subscribe. Everything that you guys do really helps with the channel. But with that all being said, let's get straight into the video. Starting off, the first thing you can essentially do after getting power is heading over to this adjacent room and picking up the watering bucket. Now with the watering bucket, heading towards Jug into the outside area, you will see a plant that you can give water to. Now the plant in your guys' game isn't going to quite look like mine. That is when it's at stage 3. I actually don't know what other stages there are afterwards, but what I do know is that every 5 rounds you're going to need to re-water your plant for it to continue to grow. Conveniently, while you're doing this, there's actually a potential shield spot location right next to that water tap. And after you've grabbed that, or if it's not there, head down towards what I call the billiards room, and there should be a shield propped up right on the pool table. Another location can be just across the corridor in the room with the lady playing the piano. The last 2 spots are going to be on the 2nd floor, with one being right here inside of the bathroom. Another one is kind of weird inside of this room. I've never gotten it in one of my games, but I do know that it can spawn here based off the details the map creator gave. With all the shield parts collected, head through the painting room, and there's going to be an area you can build the shield. I highly recommend you do this in your game, as I found it to be the best place to build my shield. Next, moving on to the Piano Lady's side quest. This is going to give you access to a whole bunch of different music throughout the map. It does not really grant you anything special, but if you guys want to do that, then here's where all the locations of these musical sheets are. First, heading into the billiards room again and turning left to this corner, you're going to find your first musical sheet. Your second one can be found back inside of the painting room located on your left. The third one can be found outside, laying on the ground, right underneath the birdhouse. For the 4th and 5th locations, go ahead and head back towards spawn. Head up to the first room that you can buy. It's going to be placed right there on the table. And then just heading down the hallway, taking the first right, you're going to see the final piece of paper right here on top of this desk. With all 5 musical sheets collected, head right back to the lady playing the piano, and congratulations, you've now gained access to a bunch of different musical pieces you can play during your game. Now, the Crystal Shards mini Easter egg is definitely a lot more rewarding. This is basically going to give you a perkaholic in your game, along with a plethora of drops. Heading into the room conjoined with this mini Easter egg is going to be your first crystal. Next, head down towards the power, and you're going to find your second crystal right here on this table. Now, head back upstairs into the room that you built the shield in, and you'll find your next crystal on top of this chair. The next 2 are going to be located upstairs, so if you head back upstairs into one of the rooms that had one of those shield parts, you're going to find your second crystal. And then this 5th and final one, I accidentally grabbed in my game, but it should be placed up right here, right above where you can actually search. With all 5 crystals, head back over to the crystal ball lady, and congratulations, you're going to get a free perkaholic along with a whole bunch of drops. Next, let's talk about all the tomato locations. So just to make this quick and simple for you guys, head back to spawn and just follow along with what I do. First, start off by heading up the stairs, heading left, and taking the first right. You're going to find your first tomato inside of this fireplace. Next, heading into the room all the way down at the end of the corridor and taking a left, you're going to find this tomato on top of this shelf. Then going back towards spawn into the first room, you're going to see a tomato right next to this bookshelving. Finally, moving throughout the rooms, you're going to find a tomato on top of where you hang these clothes. Heading over to the balcony on the other side of this wall is where you're going to find another tomato. Heading off the balcony, you're going to see another tomato next to the shield spot. Quickly turning left, you'll find another one of your tomatoes, and on top of this bookshelf is where you can also find another one. Now, heading back towards spawn, you're going to find a tomato located underneath one of the crystal locations right here. Now, just head down the hallway into the room where you can crawl through the mouse hole, and you should find a tomato located right here on your right. Now, heading back towards the billiards room, you can find another location right here on top of this table, and then heading to the room right across from it is going to be another location tucked away back in the corner. Heading outside directly to the left right next to this tree is another location, and then heading all the way across into the gym room is where you can find one hiding if you just stand right here on top of this treadmill. The last tomato on ground floor can be found heading through the painting room and tucked away right behind these wooden boxes. Now at this point, you should notice that you have 15 out of 20 of the tomatoes, with the rest of the tomatoes being located on the 2nd floor or higher. The first one can be found heading up the stairs, taking the first right, and laying down looking underneath this table. Next, head up to the 3rd floor, go down this hallway and take your first right. Now lay down, and just behind this painting is another location. Now heading across the rooftop to the back of the hallway, taking a right and heading into the next room. You'll also find another tomato location here. Now the last 2 tomatoes are going to be located on the roof, so go ahead and head through this portal. Once you're on top of the roof, head straight past this campfire, and located on top of the roof is your 19th tomato. Now heading up this ladder into what I deem the secret room, you'll find your final and 20th tomato underneath this table. Now that you've collected all 20 tomatoes, you'll be rewarded with every drop in the game, along with an extra perk if you are needing one. Now, before we get into the main Easter egg, I want to talk about 2 side quests that can be done by collecting 2 guns out of the box. The first weapon that you saw me grab is called the Poltergeist. This is basically a flamethrower, and with this weapon, you want to head down towards power, but take a left so that you end up in this ice room. Within this room is a chest that is frozen over. You simply just need to shoot the Poltergeist weapon until it is thawed out, and then you'll be rewarded with the Poltergeist 3000 weapon upgrade. The second weapon-based side Easter egg requires a couple different setup steps. Number 1, we need to head upstairs into the room with stamina, and located right here is a chest that you must open in order to have the weapon available inside of the box. And second, you have to walk into the toy room, and located right here on top of this table is the valve that is necessary to completing this little Easter egg. Now, with both those things complete, head into this room. Now, I don't have the weapon on me, but essentially you're going to be freezing this river and then using the valve right there so that this waterfall stops flowing. Inside of this waterfall is a chest, and I can't really remember off the top of my head exactly what kind of rewards are in this chest, but congratulations on completing this little side Easter egg. Now, onto the main Easter egg. As you can see on my screen is a red portal. Now, the question is, how do we get through it? Located across the map are going to be various cheeses that you may have been well aware of, and what you're going to need to do is collect a bunch of souls inside of each of these cheeses until you get this text that pops up on top of your screen. Once you've been notified that a door has been unlocked somewhere, head right back to the red portal, and you should go right into the final boss fight. Now, if for some reason this doesn't work on the same round that you got that text, just simply roll the round and it should work the next round. Now that you're inside of the boss fight, you're going to notice that Bowser is going to spawn in front of you. Now, the big main attacks he's going to have is he's going to be throwing things at you. He's also going to try to ground smash at your current location. This attack, in my personal opinion, is unavoidable, which is why you have to keep on going up to these pillars, and you have to search them. By searching them, you will replenish your health bar, and trust me, do this and you'll thank me later. Now, this portion of the boss fight can seem a little lengthy, but with due time, you'll end up putting Bowser down. Now, this isn't the end of the boss fight. Next is going to start a second phase, where King Boo is going to go ahead and spawn, and about 6 to 8 Margwas are also going to spawn in as well. Just try to do your best to rinse and repeat the previous steps by killing the zombies and by taking a second to search the pillars, just so you can regain some health. Now, I know this seems overwhelming at first, but after killing some of the Margwas, you'll notice they don't spawn back in, so you'll just be able to start focusing fire on King Boo. Now, this does take a little bit of time, but after you do kill King Boo, you're going to be prompted with a text, and now all you need to do is head to EGAD's lab. With inside of EGAD's lab, if you just follow the route that I'm taking past the Pack-a-Punch, down this corridor and to the left, you're going to see a painting that will inevitably end your game. And with that, congratulations, you've just now completed the Luigi's Mansion Easter egg. Now, if you guys found this guide extremely helpful and worth your time, then leaving a like and a comment seriously really helps out the channel. I'm a small content creator, so any sort of love in the community that I get, I love to see it, and it really keeps me going. So please, I want to hear you guys' voices. I want to hear what you guys expect from me next, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.